All right, we're live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to TableTalk, where we talk all things tabletop. This is, we're going to probably have some new people here. I think I've already seen some new people here today. It's really awesome. Sorry, my hair is a mess. I've been really busy. And today has also been really, really rough as far as, things going, because my fiance has been having a really rough time with work. Unfortunately, she works a graveyard shift for a security company, and she needs to constantly stay until like 10 a.m. because they need to like hand out new things, like a new orca card and a new like outfit. But she goes to work at 10 p.m. so she has to be at work essentially 12 hours because they refuse to do anything before 10 a.m. because their offices don't open at that time. So she's been having a little bit of a rough one this week, and consequently I have, because I've tried to do my best to be supportive. So hey, Ezel. And hey, Kazlos. Hi, Spider Nos. And Mr. Baker's Dozen. Welcome, welcome. But it's been a busy week, and there's a lot more people who are participating in the channel. Our Discord has been seeing a lot more people lately. We've gotten over 100 followers on Twitter now, and we've been getting subscribers by the dozen, like almost every day. So
shit's been popping off. I love seeing more people in the Discord. It's great.
It's really good. And Mr. Glue Boy.
Hello.
Sir Elmer. How are you doing?
Me. Pretty solid. New video dropped today. I think it's really fun. Talking about the Night Lords. Fan favorite. I got some more 40k in, and then I'm also just trying to do my best to kind of ignore the repeat 40k drama that goes on every few months. Because for every few months, my Twitter is just filled with people arguing of whether or not female Space Marines should be a thing, and it gets very tiring.
Yeah, it's a very silly conversation.
That's the problem. Like, I genuinely do not understand why it would be a bad thing. Like, but I also am saying this from the perspective of a person who does not give a shit. If tomorrow they dropped female Space Marines, I'd be like, okay, all right, moving on. It's like a problem where I see the reason is like, hey, you have like the poster boys of like 40k. It's the thing everyone knows. And it's just a bunch of men. So a lot of people are like, hey, what if we put representation in there? It's like, well, there's all this really cool representation over here that you're not looking at. Also because Games Workshop doesn't promote them. Like, if they change up their marketing to try to paint, like, say, some Eldar or some, like, Sisters of Battle to be as prominent as Space Marines, yeah, cool. But on the other hand, the argument that, like, they can't rewrite this pivotal piece of lore, it's a blurb in a rulebook. It is a paragraph or two inside of a rulebook. It does not matter that much. And also the fucking argument that annoys the shit out of me is like, well, back in the day, the Emperor said he couldn't figure out a way. Okay, does that mean every technological development we've had is a retcon? Because we've had a lot of shit now that people would have called impossible. Doesn't mean it's right. It's not a foundational rule of our universe. It's stupid. I hate the argument. It's just dumb, and it keeps popping up every few months. And this time by a YouTube account I like that was being weirdly combative and kind of shitty.
Yeah. And Highland Folium. And
hello.
Phoenix. What's up? Yeah. Sounds rough. And I get it. Like, the thing is, right, it's one of the, it's kind of like D&D in the Grognards, in a sense.
Yeah.
Where there's a bunch of people who started the hobby when it was not very popular, and they very specifically believe that it needs to be the way that it started with back in the day. And now that things are like evolving and people are getting interested and things are becoming more diverse, they suddenly feel attacked that the thing that they loved, that everyone like made fun of them for, is gone, and now they have to change their ways.
Yeah. It's the thing that's extra annoying, and this part I really don't like. It's the thing I also want to like separate myself from, and I'm taking some strides to like make sure I do that. There are, I think, some good sides to the argument of, yeah, I don't think there should be female Space Marines. There's the argument that Bricky made. I do kind of see the reasoning behind it. His point is that like by making women Space Marines, you are undermining all of the really well written female characters like over here, because you're just slapping like new representation inside of a pre-existing thing. It's the same argument with like race swapping a character, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, there are people that just don't like women that are like, yes, preach. And it's like, oh, no, don't associate my argument with yours.
Right.
That's the part that's really dumb and like bad. And 40K has a pretty bad like gatekeeping problem. Like a lot of nerdy stuff, but it's just the level of investment in 40K is so big that like I feel like a lot of people are more heated about it. And there are a lot of people who say like, yeah, Games Workshop's gonna cater to the woke crowd. It's like Games Workshop's catered to nobody, not even the people paying them.
Yeah, that's true. Not even the players that make their game run. It's pretty crazy.
Of 40K history, like of the span of me being a fan, I can point to one fucking time they've ever listened to community like uproar, and that was when the Votan were broken at launch, so they fixed the book before it released. That is the only time they have ever like listened, and that's it. They only listen to the competitive community and no one else. So it's a dumb argument.
It's like League of Legends. I played that for years, and characters that you used to play would get utterly destroyed because they were too broken and competitive. But for your casual like silver bronze players, it was like, I don't know, but you just made my favorite character way harder now, so I guess I just won't play them.
Yeah, there are some times it overreaches. I will say a lot of the competitive changes are actually good for the casual play community as well, because it is kind of lame where this happens a lot in 40K, where you're just a bunch of friends getting into 40K, your friend picks an accidentally broken army that they didn't know about, and now no one wants to play with them.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, well, you spent all this money and time, but now no one wants to play you because you're Death Guard and you're really annoying. Because Death Guard is just anti-fun. It's the fun play style of, I'm going to turn off all the stuff that makes you cool.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, so I just don't get to play the game today. But yeah, that's the current drama, and it's stupid. It's a lot of people. It's the same deal. I had a massive issue with a lot of the OGL stuff, where I personally, the only time I ever get like annoyed at drama or like really like upset at it is when it's people taking a what if scenario and running with it and trying to terrify people. I hate fear mongering a what if. Like, yeah, what if Games Workshop listens? Yeah, what if for some reason the OGL covered stuff it specifically says it doesn't cover? Yeah, what if?
Yeah. And to be fair, like the OGL news was very scary for a lot of people.
Oh, it was harming people's livelihoods.
It's completely understandable, but simultaneously, it's one of those things where it's just people are just gonna do whatever. You know what I mean? I remember recently when I released my new Welcome to the Community video, and Rise of the Rule Lords was like saying, hey, go watch the video. Some guy's just like, this is exactly what WotC wants you to think. They want you to stop paying attention to what's going on. You need to talk about the OGL 24/7. And it's like, oh my god, please.
What? Huh?
Like, I already don't do anything D&D related, so I'm as fighting the power as well as anyone else could. But, you know, it's just one of those things.
I like the idea of, hey, are you new to a community? Like, is you're jumping ship? Yeah, check this one out. And then it's just like, No, don't join something new and fun. Talk about this thing.
Yeah,
It's weird.
about
What the fuck?
WotC because they need more publicity.
Yeah, let's I know we're trying to, spin a positive light for new Pathfinder players, but no, keep talking about D&D.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, even in my video, I avoided talking anything WotC related. Because the video is just, it's for Pathfinder and people getting into Pathfinder. And while this channel does have Pathfinder content, and I do consistently put Pathfinder content out, I also put out content for other games, and I feel people should check out other games. So it's just one of those things. And to address some things here in chat, Spider-Nos, I cannot get another PDF for World Guide because I already have one. So I could not get another one, unfortunately, but that's okay because I actually am perfectly fine, like funding Paizo as much as we can anyway. So that's good for me. And congratulations, Spider-Nos. I know you've been talking about this new game coming up, and that's always exciting. I'm always excited when a new game comes up, and man, the longest session I've ever been in was like 16 hours or something like that.
Jesus Christ.
A big, full, like, summer vacation 2-day game is crazy.
I mean, I think the longest session of a game I've ever been in was the one where we're just finishing up the Underdark, like, boss fight in the Labyrinth, where we just sat down and was like, all right, we're not leaving till this is done.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the longest I've been on. Though my sweet spot for like tabletop is like 4 or 5 hours. Anything past that, I start really zoning out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not feasible anymore for me to invest more than a 4 or 5 hour chunk to tabletop. But this was back in high school days where, we didn't have anything better to do and we were fueled purely by Mountain Dew. So
yeah, it was a sick ass boss fight, and that's like 5 or 6 hours. That is my complete most. Anything further, I will die.
I will say definitely, I think you're right. In person does make a big difference. It's because like you're hanging out,
That's
and
fair.
There's been tons of times where like we would go and play, or we would go and like walk to like a Safeway or something to get snacks in the middle of the night. Have a little breather.
Okay, I've done that. That move I've done, and that's a good point. If there's like breaks in between like that, because if my D&D session's gonna be like my work a day, I gotta have registered breaks in there.
Yeah, right. That's fair. 6 p.m. to 2 to 4 a.m. Can't remember which boss fight for the Friday game done on a Saturday. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's for your birthday? Oh, well then happy birthday whenever that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's crazy that we've been getting so much traffic as well, because like one of the things I'm pretty happy about on our Discord is we've had a few games set up through the Discord. It's really cool. We've also had people who are trying to set up games for like other systems like Wild Sea on the Discord, and it's exactly what I want, honestly, is people to come together, make friends, and go play tabletop together. It's literally anything you could ever hope for.
Mm-hmm.
And happy belated birthday.
Hell yeah. I do love the I love that because that was the goal, like going forward, like I've said on stream a lot, and I know we've all talked about, is like it'd be so cool if just the server isn't just a thing for like our stuff, it's also a thing for community tabletop where games are going on, even like games happening in this Discord would be fun, like things like that.
Yeah, I really want to do more community events. I really liked the build reviews that we did before.
That was really fun. I really enjoyed that.
Running YouTube's hard.
that's a lot.
I would love to spend more time like on just doing stuff, but it's like I'm constantly getting stuff ready for new YouTube videos. I'm also constantly on Twitter because that's literally where I get like most of my news.
Mhm.
Twitter, and then wherever a link will take me from Twitter. And lately, it's been exceptionally busy. Everyone knows why. OGL nonsense. And it's been good. And honestly, the conversation we're going to have this week is, there's a lot of people for Pathfinder that are coming in. Pathfinder's been having record numbers. Their websites are being put to the test because I'll tell you, nothing Paizo related is ever made for tons of people at once.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been really fun, but now we're getting to the point where it's kind of like getting past the honeymoon phase in a sense. We have a lot more people coming in, but what does that mean for Pathfinder, and how many people are actually planning on sticking around after the initial surge? And
I hope most of them.
I don't even know about most. I would say, I think the people who are looking for a better designed tabletop, this was the kick they needed to really push for a better system. I know, I'm sure we have some friends who probably might even make the change, depending on how everything goes.
Yeah. We will. I'm curious. I gotta figure out what Q's gonna do about his D&D games. Probably tomorrow. I'll ask him about it. So I'm curious, like, especially with which apparently the rumored D&D Beyond subscription prices is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, apparently, that's at least according to them.
And hi, Steve McLean. If you want to port over a warlock, there's some good options. Unfortunately, as of right now, there is not a really good evocation like system where you get like a really cool like constant power all the time kind of thing, which is one of my favorite things about the 5e warlock. But you got two options. You either go Magus if you were playing a Bladelock, because Magus and Bladelock play almost exactly the same, except actually Magus is cooler because you can mix your spells into your melee strikes.
You can actually do more.
It's really, really good. And with the with the archetype system in Pathfinder, you can even have an even deeper or even more spellcastery Bladelock, if that's what you want, or a more combat-orientated one. Mauler plus Magus is really, really broken. You want the ability to just knock someone on their ass and then spell strike them? Yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of horror stories about just the bruiser party that just goes all in on trips.
Yeah, our Monday game that my fiance runs, she's learned the pain of having a group that really knows how to utilize things like trips or grapples or whatever.
I've said it for a while, but I feel very bad for saying for that. Like, because I've been there. Granted, it was really funny. I had the moment where I was running an encounter for a little too big of a party, and they found this. We're fighting this wizard boss, and someone got like the attempt to grapple him, threw him to the ground, and then it was just a turn of combat as every single character curb stomped him as he was laying down.
Yeah,
it was like that was 5e, which it was I really like your party. It's super funny. You're the good guys, and you go around just acting like the villains,
bullying the bosses. Yeah,
just quick, give him a wedgie, get him.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's really fun.
The sessions where I've listened in are really, really fun to listen to.
Yeah, and Spider Nos, MegaCon coming up soon, and you got my Puppet Master build going in. The Puppet Master build is one of my most unintentional broken builds I posted on the channel. It wasn't the intent, but it's just I guess, a happy coincidence that my build, which is more about like mental manipulation, was also the build where you could just mind melt people really fast. So it's a very good build.
Yeah. Which I do hope you're making more, because got a lot of fresh new faces coming in to be like, ooh, Pathfinder, what can I play?
You know, funny you mentioned that. I did notice lately, and let me pull it up here, a lot of my videos that people are very consistently going to are, let's see, in the last 48 hours, it changes up, but my build videos tend to get a lot of traffic. And my class tier list is obviously going to do really, really well. I'm very surprised my class tier list. It's like when the OGL video started creeping up on it and got really, really close, suddenly the class tier list video pushed way past. It got up to 8. It's now up to 8K views.
Huh. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was nuts. I might get my first 10K plus video soon, so I'm excited about that.
Ooh.
But a lot of people really like build videos, and I have been holding off on doing build videos, one, because they just take a lot of time. I do a lot of research, and the builds I produce, I build to be dynamic so that you can kind of slot in and stuff that you want or don't want. And also, I don't go for pure power builds, because I feel like the game itself is designed around being dynamic about roleplay and combat abilities and everything like that. So I try to give something that's very interesting, very unique, and always plays very, very differently. And I think I've done very, very well. Some of my builds are a little stronger than others, obviously. That's just going to be the case as far as
That's
like
just builds.
What's put into it and what ideas had. The champion one had some inaccuracies in it. I completely forgot that in the multi-class of Magas, you can only spell strike once per combat. You need to like recharge your spell strike over 10 minutes or something like that.
Ouch.
Yeah, you still get a spell strike though.
I mean, you get a spell strike just once.
Yeah, and that's not the biggest part of the build, so it's not a super important part of it.
Not really.
But I did want to give the Paladin 5e smite to the champion for people who miss it. So
yeah, it is missed. You know, 5e is pretty, like, especially nowadays, like, don't like what they're doing, but that Paladin's on point. I would like the Pathfinder champion a lot more if they could smite.
To be fair, D&D 5e's Paladin is just broken. It's just a superior class in
that's what's
almost
fun about
every way to most of the other classes.
Yeah, why would you play another class?
Thank you, Steve. Yeah, I do love the why this class is awesome, and I can't wait for Kineticist, which will be coming out this year as well. That's going to be another big one. And I have petitions to get some of the treasure vault stuff early, and I heard there's some archetypes in it, so we might be doing some stuff on that, but I haven't heard back officially yet on that. So we'll have to see. If I don't get it early, I will get it when the book comes out. So we got a lot of fun stuff here on the channel, and I do know that with a bunch of new people who are interested in Pathfinder as well, it's a good time to really invest in that. The Lancer stuff is not going away. I may just push myself to do a little bit more content. I do try to do 3 videos a week standardly, and 1 to 2 of them tend to be for Pathfinder regardless. So it's not like it's a big change, but it's gonna be more effort on my behalf, because researching builds takes a good chunk of time. So yeah, Treasure Vault releases end of February. So it's coming out here pretty soon, and it's gonna be really, really good.
That's gonna be great. I'm excited to see what Treasure Vault has. The brief tidbits I've been seeing, like some of the stuff that's said to be included, I'm really excited for. It sounds really cool.
And yeah, definitely, that's true. It's like I say I wouldn't say 5e Paladin is so strong it makes the rest of the characters bad. I think 5e Paladin should be the benchmark that most classes should be pushed towards, because it's a fun class. It feels really, really good. I feel like smiting needs to be nerfed a little bit, but other than that,
let's not put that energy in the air.
I think otherwise it's really well designed. I actually really like how it plays, but I don't know. And we're talking Pathfinder.
It's the design principle. It's the design principle of where instead of nerfing things, like, it sometimes works better to just elevate other things. Like, rather than like this thing's really good, let's just make everything else as good as this. Rather than like, all right, let's nerf it till it's up as subpar as these other ones.
The hard part about that is D&D refuses to release like consistent character content.
Yep, they refuse to just update their games.
I won't be at MegaCon, unfortunately. This year is a very... Last year was really rough. Really, really rough. And me and my household are trying to get ready to move, so we're trying to scrap together as much money as we can. And,
where is MegaCon gonna take place this year?
MegaCon.
So I will be real. I don't actually. I only know what MegaCon is because it gets talked about. Oh God, Orlando. That's far.
That's almost exactly on the opposite side of the United States as we are.
Yep, that would be a hefty trip.
You had to take a flight.
Yeah.
But I heard that actually some flights are getting pretty cheap now, so
that's something.
I would go if this was not the year where we were trying to scrap together every cent we could.
Yeah, if I had like good disposable income, I'd love to go.
And thanks, Steve McLean. But yeah, so there's, it's very interesting with all the people coming in because Paizo, Pathfinder, and Archive and Nethys are really good like metrics to see how many people are interested. Mm-hmm. And I really should do a video for like Pathfinder, or not Pathfinder, Path Builder.
Or Path Builder's the best tool.
Yeah, or like Archive and Nethys. And I think I may have been convinced. I'm looking at moving to Foundry for our tabletop stuff. They got some really good stuff, and they also have Lancer stuff, so we'll have to see.
I can't believe it. The comments finally got you.
It wasn't even that.
Well, I'm actually curious, what was it? Because I know nothing about Foundry.
Someone posted a video. Well, it wasn't even recent. It was like an old video that's been kicked up a bit because of the all the recent interest in Pathfinder for Foundry. It was like a 5-minute video of like why you should, and I was looking at it, I'm like, it does look a lot cleaner, and if Foundry runs better on your guys' computers than Roll20 does, that is more than enough reason to try to move. Because not everyone has good computers, and for some reason, Roll20 doesn't even care if you have good computers sometimes.
I have a good computer. Like now, granted, I had some problems, but now it's all better. And even then, like, Roll20 is just like, oh god, lighting effects. Like, it's weird. I can run fucking, like, Cyberpunk at really good settings, but Roll20 is what kills my computer.
Yeah, so if Foundry runs better, I think it'll be a good move. It's just, well, I'll have to see. It's gonna be an investment.
Yeah, exactly. I'm curious. Like, I think I'm not opposed to switching. It's just the like you've been saying for so long.
I know. It's mostly because I'm relatively happy with Roll20 for the most part. But a lot of the lag and issues that we've been having, I feel, has just been rough. And I have no idea what you even said, Cassis, so... hopefully we don't have any problems. Ah, I see. Yeah, I have no idea.
Oh, well, we'll have to
Oh,
see.
it's a self-server. You'll need a good connection. We have a really solid internet connection, so I'm not super concerned about that, but... But yeah, so a lot of people are joining Pathfinder nowadays, and so, you know, it's going to cause some changes, I think, in Pathfinder. There's a lot of people who are very used to a very, like, homebrewed kind of game who are going to be coming over. And there's a lot of people who are not used to seeing, like, such a thick rule book. And I gotta say, I love Pathfinder 2e. Its core rulebook is not really well put together as far as finding information.
Yeah,
I've
like,
spent a lot of time. Hey, Eater Worlds, thanks for the sub. Oh, and we had a Pedigree 81555. Thanks for the follow earlier. I did see it. We were chatting at the moment. I did notice.
I saw a thread where personally got like a little bit of heat from it for not like I think no reason. They're making a thread on why the Pathfinder rulebook is a little bad for like ADHD people. And then they like showed like exactly like, hey, here's a stat line. Look how hard it is to track. And I'm like, it is. You're right, because it's a like those stat blocks. I don't know how to read that shit. I'll be honest. It is a lot. It flows really weird. It's a lot of words all densely packed in there. I struggle with that. So it's love you, Paizo, but that book is a little rough.
I mean, I think the chapters are organized well enough, but when you're trying to find very specific rules on stuff, there's not really easy ways to track them down.
Nah. I mean, I remember those early sessions where it was just you, like, pouring through trying to find stuff.
Yeah, for
especially
like
because it was early.
Several minutes.
Yeah,
but once you understand, it gets infinitely easier. And with the help of Archive and Nethys, it's even easier than that. So Archive and Nethys now has such a good search bar that you can type in most things and you can find it in like no time flat. So Archive and Nethys is better. Huge.
It's been getting a lot better. But yeah, it's got the learning curve where it just like at the beginning, like any game should, it's a little tough to like learn all the rules for it. But then once you get the rules, you know, it's a lot better. It's a lot easier.
But yeah, so there's just a lot that goes into, I think, because like I've done a lot of games that have core books. I feel like you can find stuff much easier. I think Lancer has a really good core book.
Oh yeah, I agree with that too.
The PDF is not really well put together. There's like not great hyperlinking for it, but I feel like if I had a physical copy of it, I would be able to find the rules like that.
And even then, if you can't, CompCon is really well done.
CompCon is really good, and another thing about Foundry as well, you can port over your CompCon characters straight into the character sheets there.
Oh, okay, that's good, because the Roll20 Lancer sheet leaves a lot to be desired. Like most sheets on Roll20, to be honest. The only one I've encountered that I really like is probably the VTM in the Pathfinder one.
Mm-hmm. But in any regard, hey, Steve, if you like it and it works for you, that's great. But there's a lot of times I was looking for rules at like, because we used to play, when I first started, we used to play like in a basement at a game store. So I couldn't really use the internet that easily. It was just very spotty. And I had to go by the core book. And obviously finding like hard rules in a core book that you're getting, you know, introduced to, it was just a really hard experience, especially for a game that is as dense as Pathfinder is, at least your first way through. You know, once you understand Pathfinder, it's infinitely easier. There's a lot of people who were putting out like videos that Pathfinder is easier than D&D 5e, and I agree once you get past the initial hump, because you don't have to make stuff up anymore. That's it. It's like D&D 5e is so easy to learn up until you start trying to push what the system can do, and then it stops functioning. You know, it's like a go-kart. You know, you start hitting a certain speed, and suddenly like the thing starts going out of control.
Yeah.
Where Pathfinder is just, you know, it's like an old beat up car, but once the engine's going, once you get a nice cruising speed, that thing will take you for far, you know. So
Oh, that'd be such a handy like tool for converting Path Builder, because like that's it should have more compatibility with stuff to make things a little easier on people. I do just toss that at people like, hey, you want to get into Pathfinder? Use Path Builder.
mm-hmm.
I'm its biggest fan.
I never used it, but I have heard great things about it. So I did recommend it in my video, the Welcome to Pathfinder's community. So
yeah, I only use it. I have no clue how to build a pen and paper character in Pathfinder. I only use Path Builder. I wouldn't want it any other way. Mainly because I don't like pen and paper character making. It's just a lot of work.
yeah, I am noticing that the YouTube stuff is not seeming to pop through, which it was earlier.
Yeah, it was like.
So I don't know
very
why it's Streamlabs stuff. I don't know. They might start popping through at some point. Who knows?
I know
We'll
before they
figure
would
it
just
out.
refresh.
We are getting a lot more YouTube traffic than normal. So
You just make like a bunch of like stuff for it, and new viewers came in with all the shout outs.
yeah, well, we got what 30 subs yesterday alone, which is the most we've gotten in a single day on this channel.
That's pretty sick.
So yeah, we've gotten 200 in the last 28 days, and most of that was in the last 2 weeks. So yeah, you know, and you know what's funnier? The Streamlabs I can see in the multi-stream, the YouTube, which I normally have a problem seeing. So I don't know. I do see your chat stuff though. So
Yeah,
hopefully
and I
it
have the
starts
YouTube
showing
one
up.
open. Say I missed this message before, but I will say also my complaints for it are a little different. If I have any complaints for tabletop rule books, only because like I just have the inability to sit down and read through a book. It's really hard for me to sit down and pay attention, and I can't parse information through text. Where I can't learn a thing through reading it, I have to be like doing it. So rule books and I have never got along, and even I am like, hey, you know, at least I can kind of parse the 5e core book. As much problems as 5e has, they got a well-made core book.
I agree. I definitely agree as far as that kind of stuff, and that's kind of was 5e's selling point, you know. It's just once you kind of, if you invest in the game, 5e stops, like the return is just not as good the more you invest into it, and that's unfortunate. But in any regard, I'm glad that people are coming into Pathfinder and are very excited to see a game that's so well put together. I know for a lot of people, it might be a little rough getting in because they're starting this new game and it's just very densely packed, and it feels like more restrictive because they're not used to a game that has a rule for everything. But you just understand, a rule for everything means less stress on the GM, because the GM doesn't have to make up something and try to like make it gamify a thing that, you know, the players want to do. A lot of that is just already handled. And it really just depends on your style as well. And this is another thing that a lot of people don't really think about when it comes to things like tabletop. There's different tabletop styles for different kinds of play. There's different kinds of tabletops for different kinds of people. Not every system is going to be for every player. Shadowrun's a good example of that.
Yeah.
Shadowrun is a very dense and very well-beloved game, but my god, is it just a little much for someone like me who wants more meaningful choices, I think, with every choice, rather than needing to parse out, like, how my character stats up together with a bunch of small accumulations. So.
Or, like, me with Starfinder, where, like, me, a giant sci-fi nerd, is like, I'm not very into this. Everyone's got their different style.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hector, I agree. If you just get comfortable with house ruling stuff and then adjusting later, it gets better. But not everyone is necessarily comfortable with that, so
No.
It's understandable when you want to do it right the first time. Yeah, that sounds exactly like someone who plays Shadowrun. I loved it back in the day when I had time to play that game.
God. It seems like you really just sit down and be like, all right, this is my thing now. Just Shadowrun. I mean, like, the games they got for it are cool. I like the shit, what is it? The table, like Divinity or Baldur's Gate, that style RPG.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what the name is for. I don't remember what the acronym is.
Yeah.
CRPG.
CRPG. Yeah.
Yeah, the CRPGs for Shadowrun are pretty cool. I have them.
Yeah.
They're neat.
I mean, again,
when I don't have to do it myself by pen and paper, it's pretty cool.
Different games for different folks, you know.
Yeah.
Like Blades in the Dark. So many people absolutely love it. I absolutely love the setting. I think its setting is sick, but the game just is a little too open-faced for me. So it's hard for me to really dig in when a lot of it is just kind of like, just do what feels right. So it's not the kind of gamer I am when it comes to tabletop. But for a lot of people, it's exactly their game. And that's why people should be going out and trying new games. And hopefully with some of the games that we've done first takes on here on the channel, plus some of the deeper dives we're doing now, will be useful for people. And I don't know if this is intentional, Dead Phoenix, but the Dragonfall. We were talking about Whale Falls before, but this is Dragonfall. It's great. Love the term. I've heard there was some drama about the AI dungeon / game masters. I don't think the technology is there where we can have really good AI dungeon masters. Because the fun thing is, right, tabletop is a game of interacting socially between you and NPCs. Like, the thing you get out of tabletop is when you talk to NPCs, they actually, like, can be people, and you can get some more out of it. You can get some more meaningful relations out of it. I don't think AI is there yet. I do think making AI systems for tabletops where the game can more play itself than anything is good, but tabletops have been already doing that. There's a lot of tabletops that actually automate like a lot of stuff in the game, and in fact the game I'm designing, I automate a lot of the process so that the game can be more hands-off for the GM, and they can focus more on the things they want to focus on when running the game. So it's just a point of like, AI DMs would be cool, but I don't think we have a way to meaningfully do it.
Not anytime soon, at least. I mean, I don't think that what we're gonna have at the end of the day is AI DMs coming to take our jobs, kind of like what the AI art kerfuffle is all about. but like, because at the end of the day too, a lot of times tabletop you're specifically doing it to hang out and have fun with your friends, and like unless you want a robot friend, I don't know. I think the idea of probably making like a single player tabletop experience a lot more feasible could be interesting. And if I could get a CRPG that like is like, you know, a custom, like in the future, like 20, 40 years or whatever, we get like a fully automated game. It's like, all right, here is a digital version of Pathfinder 3E, Path Found.
Right.
And then it's like, yeah, and it is a fully customizable like game, like digital like CRPG, where it's an AI dungeon master making what you want to make. It's like, all right, that could be cool. Fair enough. I'll play that. I'll play that solo. But then I'd still be like, hey Cam, Pathfinder campaign.
Yeah, and you know, and the thing is, right? I wish I could just be like, random dungeon button, go, click
That'd
a
be
dungeon
cool.
button, and then the idea of my dungeon, I just can't. I'd be like, all right, so you guys walk into this cave, click button, and then a cave generates, and like whatever the enemy, it doesn't matter. I'll just adapt to whatever the game throws at me. But like that would make my life infinitely easier. I wish there was something like that. But you know, it's it's just I don't think the technology's there quite yet, and it's not quite the same as like AI chatbots or whatever, because they take information that you give and kind of like learn and try to iterate and see responses. But when it comes to like a tabletop space, it's like there's just so many things that players can do and say, and we don't have a easy way to input that into like a device that we can do so constantly enough to make something like that. So I don't know, I just don't see it very feasibly, but I do hope that there's some good peripherals that can aid tabletop that are a lot more automated. So that's my take.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you really want at least even a starter version of what a D&D, like a AI tabletop game, just go like play AI Dungeon. Let's go load up AI Dungeon and try that out, because it's fun. I'll say you can get some goofy stories out of it. I've messed around with that one a lot, but it's not the same as like getting a story with my friends.
And hi Gray, welcome.
Hey. Oh god, yeah, AI wouldn't do rule of cool. They'd be like, this isn't in the rules, so you can't actually do this. And it'd be the worst rules lawyer DM I've ever seen. That's true. I'm against AI DMs now.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Dungeon crawling is very different than I think what tabletop has really become.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just a lot more that goes into it. I just, you know, for me, what would be infinitely more useful than an AI GM that could do the job would be like, okay, generate shopkeeper. And then it gives a profile for a shopkeeper, a name, their appearance, what their like their social proclivities are, and like a random chance that it generates like a side quest in it. And then I could just be like, okay, read this information. Good. All right, here's what I got. Like a prompt, you know, like a improv prompt in a sense.
Yeah.
Because that's what I think would really benefits tabletop. Oh no, Discord is dead. Did our Discord die?
We're currently in it.
Oh yeah, Discord crash at the moment. Well, y'all can hear us.
Yeah,
but yeah, I went to another link and nothing posted.
Strange.
Interesting. Well, we'll keep going as long as Alex can be here, I guess.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm still good. I'm still alive.
The Deck of Many, yeah, the Deck of Many is really good as well. The one that came out for Pathfinder where you can self-generate NPCs. That's really, really good. I like that kind of stuff. So peripherals that add to what, like, removes stress from the GM by just giving you more prompts and more stuff to work with, I think are really, really good.
I will say Chat GPT is actually really impressive. I'm excited to use it to, if any of my professors are watching, this is a joke, use it to write essays for me. Because I've tested it out. I had it write some college essays on some very dumb subjects, and it put out some, like, I'm like, damn, that's a good point, AI. So we're getting to an interesting point. I think it'll take longer than 5 years personally, but I think there will be a point where we have a version of it, and I think it'll be really interesting. The only AI thing I'm actually like iffy and a bit more grossed out about is AI art stuff, because it's sourced in a very kind of uncool way for a lot of people, and it is actually poking directly like at somebody's like possible livelihood. So AI like DMs, it's a different thing. It's a different product at the end of the day.
I don't know why Streamlabs is just not accepting YouTube at the moment. It was earlier. I did see it earlier, actually. I don't know.
Luckily, all the stuff I have to write for my classes are Canvas discussion posts. No one checks those for plagiarism. Also, I'm not doing that. It's film analysis stuff that I do. It has to be very personal.
But oh goodness, a bunch of people just jumped in. What the heck?
Oh yeah, welcome.
But yeah, so hopefully Discord doesn't die. But okay, it's working now. Good. Oh god. Okay. There's a lot. I just and you know, I do hope that this issue with WotC and all that does just make the space expand, because the tabletop has very much needed an indie boom for a really long time. Because the great thing about indie gaming, right? What indie game brings to video games in general is new concepts filtering in that sometimes the bigger corporations take, or sometimes small indie games blow up super huge, and then that it starts like new companies. It's really fun and interesting, and there's many fun games out there, and well, there are many fun tabletops out there, and it's not like there aren't indie tabletop games out there. The more people who invest in these games, we can get more out of them. If only Anima Beyond Fantasy had gotten a bunch more people interested in it when it was coming out, because I loved that game. It's atrocious though, and if they just got enough money to invest in a new edition or something, I think it would be such a good game.
It is a good game, excuse you. Also, I mean, fair enough. Honestly, at the end of the day, view AI art how you want. I think it's an interesting, if you're using it for personal use, I'm a bit more okay with it. The problem is I've just seen and have talked to enough artists who really don't like it, or have seen a lot of artists who are getting their work directly taken to be sources or altered by AI stuff and are very uncomfortable with it. So if you as an artist are cool with it, good. I don't speak for other artists. It's just when I see it, I'm like, I just don't like seeing some people's livelihoods being fucked with. I'm not a fan of that. Though I also say this from a place of relative safety, where, at least for the foreseeable future, my art form, film, is completely safe. For the time being. I would love to see an AI movie, to be completely honest. I think it'd be really weird and stilted, like, emotionally, and I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone's, like, super into AI tech because it's becoming something more interesting nowadays, but there's a lot of things that there's a lot of hurdles AI still has to overcome to really become more than what it is. And there's just different kinds of stuff. Like, as far as the art thing is concerned, yeah, I it's kind of a mixed bag, honestly. It would be cool if you could just have AI character art stuff and just have a button to generate art for your character. That'd be kind of cool. But the whole premise of AI is it's a learning thing, so it has to take from a source. So inherently, it's pseudo plagiaristic because it's just taking from another source and kind of mixing things together to look good or to adjust. But I don't think there's any real concern about like actual AI taking over, even like art right now, because a lot of people are like, oh cool, AI art, you know, doing it ad nauseum, and it's frustrating for those creators who are getting their work kind of plagiarized for it. But I don't think that the art is ever actually going to get that far. Honestly.
It'll get to a point in like the future where it's a problem. In the next couple of years, no, and we're fine for a bit. Though I will say, AI art has done something very fun. Which also, by the way, I have read those AI movie scripts. They're goofy. I want to see like a shot list output, like a full like script AI direct. I think it'd be fun. But I've seen when AI art tries to make realistic stuff and people are lying and saying, oh, it looks so good, but you're like, this is terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, did you see the it's a room of like just teens partying? Like it's a bunch of Polaroid pictures.
No.
Okay, it's fucking terrifying because it's like this person's like, oh, it looks so realistic, like genuine, being like, oh, it looks so good. But then you look at it and it's like these 4 pictures, like these Polaroid style, like kind of 90s era, like teen parties, these girls, and like their eyes are a little too far apart. Some of them have like an extra finger or two, like
pictures
their
that get
teeth
more
don't line
disturbing
up.
the more you look them over.
Yeah, and it's like you look at it, and at least I was like, I'm really uncomfortable. And I start analyzing. I'm like, oh, where like that kind of stuff, where it's like the horror concept of like things pretending to be human. It's like that's cool. I like that. If AI art was just output to make uncanny Valley horror, I'm into it. I love that shit. I think it's so fun. I love the Uncanny Valley. But for other stuff, less into it. AI art horror? Hell yeah. Let's fucking send it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, again, the whole thing is a mess, and as the technology releases, it's Pandora's box. We've opened the box. There's no putting it back in. It's just a thing, and we're gonna have to learn how to live with it in some way or form. So we'll see.
Yep, we'll see.
And especially for us broke tabletop players, it's really nice when you can get character art for free. But
oh yeah, I'd still prefer to get it from an actual human. But I had a friend show me some of their like AI art, like tabletop stuff for like a character or a campaign they're starting up with like his friends. And I was like, yeah, those look good. You got what you wanted out of it. It's better than like what you do, like looking up art is like, yeah, my character kind of looks like this. Instead, where you can fine tune a prompt to like give you what you want.
I mean, as a GM, I'd love to just type in butcher and then get a bunch of images and then just drop one of those for you guys to see in scene, because visual aids I think are really important.
I'd love to. It's a little tough because tiefling. It'd be kind of fun if I could get like some art of William. Because if I had money, I would totally get a commission for William. I think his design gets really interesting, and that I want to actually have like the design show up. Because I have some fun ideas for him. That isn't just stock red tiefling art.
That's fair. And let's hop subject, because I don't feel like we have much to add as far. It's a very hard subject to really talk too much about.
And we're a bunch of broke tabletop nerds, not artists.
Yeah, true. I'm not an artist for sure.
100%. I'm not either.
But, you know, with all the new people jumping in as well, next week we'll be having another Table Talk, obviously, and we may have a guest appearance. We've confirmed it, but I don't like officially stating, who it's going to be or anything until we get closer, because things could come up. I don't want to disappoint anyone. So, and that's almost happened before. We almost didn't get the rules lawyer. And he was only on for like half the show, which was very unfortunate. So, and again, that was some of the strife was caused because, like last second cancellations and everything like that. But next week we will be talking about, regardless, what new people are looking for. So if you know anyone who's new to tabletop or new to Pathfinder specifically, we'll be talking about that next week as well. And I'm looking for any stuff that you guys have on the subject. So if you check out the Discord, or even here, if you're watching this podcast like post the fact, you can leave down in the comments things you think new players are looking for. I'm very interested. I have a lot of things, because as a GM, it's just innate for you to like kind of orientate yourself towards getting people introduced into a game. It's just all you do, really. I mean, I've been doing that forever now, because there was a period in my life where no one liked tabletop, or at least most people didn't, and now everyone does. And so, I have a lot of things that I think some people would like, but definitely it would be better to get the information directly from the source. So, whatever your experiences are getting into tabletop for the first time, or Pathfinder 2E for the first time, helpful hints, tips, whatever, I'm more than happy to look at those. And we also need to understand that even though there are a bunch of new people in Pathfinder, there's some people who are going to come and not like it, and that's okay. We don't have to crucify them and be like, well, it's this or D&D. No, there's other games out there. Don't see a new like water source and build a dam on it instantly. You know what I mean? Like, we need to let this Dragonfall here result in other games getting more advertising and more players into it, not just the next D&D like S game.
Yeah. That's the part I'm not excited about when it comes to it. I know it's gonna happen, but like I do hope that there's not just a really, really bad like uproar of gatekeeping.
Yeah, and
because I do like I just kind of despise gatekeeping. I hate it so much. As just someone who wants more people to enjoy the things I enjoy.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the selfishness that comes in with it, is a lot of people are just like, oh, people are liking our game. Quick, gather them up, tie them down, stay here, play our game.
Yeah, they should.
They're very excited. But they do it to a point where it's a little too much, where people are getting a little more possessive over new players. And people just need to start playing other tabletops. Try games out.
That's very true.
Try games out. Do some new things. And now, for some reason, Streamlabs isn't pulling up the chat. Fortunately, I have it over here. So,
man, Streamlabs is just kind of messing up today.
I really need to stop using Streamlabs.
You do. You really do.
I really do. It's just so hard because they have so many good things that make it easy, like this chat scene that we have here. So Snowman Hell mentions one thing is transferring characters over. Yeah, actually, that'd be a really good video idea.
I think so.
Is how to transfer your characters over to Pathfinder 2E, because I do think for the most part Pathfinder 2E can do a lot of character transfers, but things like the Warlock don't transfer one for one over because it's just such a really unique class, and while there are ways you could make your specific warlock character in Pathfinder that I think are really clean, I think if you like the class in general, you have to work really hard to like cross it over, because you're like, I want to play a different kind of warlock. Oh, but what now? I'm not playing a bladelock per se, so maybe not Magus.
You know, I like that point. Like the you asked for this. You told everyone to switch to Pathfinder. It's because it's a better game, and now people are doing it. You're upset.
Right. That is an interesting twist. And Steve, you know, that's fair. I don't feel like that you need to stop playing D&D 5e either. I think people can still play the games they enjoy, and that's kind of been a big kind of surge I've been noticing on things like Twitter, where a lot of people are starting to kind of push back a little bit when it comes to people leaving the hobby, and then some people are like, but I want to stay. Then stay, enjoy the game, you know.
If you're uncomfortable with like giving money to Wizards of the Coast, you can play Pathfinder without giving them a cent. Or D&D. You can play D&D like 5e without paying anything. You can just get access to player material pretty easily, and then just have friends. The most you might need is just a core book that someone bought back in like 2016 or something, and like you're fine.
Yeah, or people who've already bought so much already. You know, you got that content.
Those books aren't like making microtransaction money for Wizard of the Coast right now. Like, if you already have the stuff, like, it's totally fine to keep playing it if you're uncomfortable paying them money.
My only statement is I'm glad people are trying new games.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I hope this like, I hope people stick with this. I hope they don't like go back the moment new 5e thing comes out and be like, ah, man, remember that time I was trying new games? Time to never do it again. Like, I hope that doesn't happen.
Yes, Bill Shepard, I'm aware. Videos will have errors, but thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's... Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is the OGL is a horrible thing, but it's typically horrible things that bring people together.
Yeah.
As terrible as that is, it's kind of like that survival instinct. Is there's all kinds of ways where something bad can bring a lot of good with it, and when in this situation, honestly, D&D really didn't even have much of a leg legally to stand on for a lot of this stuff they were trying to do anyway.
Yeah, not
so
really.
It was more like a false alarm. It was just WotC showing their hand as far as like their intent behind what they want to do with D&D that really shook people up, and that's, I think, fair. I think people need to be shaken up by a company that obviously looks to exploit them.
Whoa, Cam. Excuse you. They both won. All of us won, according to them.
Right.
That statement is so goofy.
It is. I just...
It really, it really does feel like it's like, yes, evil scheme. We'll milk as much money as we can. And you, like, trip and fall, like, immediately.
Yeah. Eat shit immediately.
Like,
it's just
right after.
One of those things where it got people to take a second look at tabletop. And I think that's great. You know, even if it was mostly a false alarm, I think it's great that it shook people to the core enough to shift, try new stuff out. If anything, just to open people up to more experiences, or to get people to invest in Pathfinder when they needed that shot. Because I know a lot of people were saying, well, my friends like thought it was interesting, but they wouldn't make the move because they already knew 5e.
Yeah.
And this has pushed a lot of those people over that edge to try something like Pathfinder 2e. it's something that a lot of people needed, I think, because D&D was kind of like this monolith that was formed around, mostly around like the mass media appeal that came with Stranger Things, and then with Critical Role coming in and people wanting to do tabletop like Critical Role, and the only way they thought they could do that was through the same game that they were playing, which was D&D, which was not necessarily the case because they homebrewed a lot of stuff anyway, and it was a whole new setting and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But still, people felt like that was kind of what they needed to do. But this opportunity has created a lot of time for people to see, you know, oh, there's other tabletops. Oh, this Pathfinder game is really good. Why have we not tried this one out yet? Because it's just one of those things where people thought that tabletop, you could only get that same experience if you were playing the same game. But now people are trying new games and getting that experience elsewhere. And hopefully this is, you know, the Dragon Ball we needed to really revitalize the scene in general. And it seems like that's been the case. Lancer's been getting more people invested in it, which I'm super happy about. Pathfinder has, which has been really good for us as well. And I also plan on doing some Vampire the Masquerade stuff soon. And, you know, that'll be the next game we dip into for a more in-depth look. That's going to be a really fun time. There'll be more.
The only thing that make this better is like, hey, I know Wizard of the Coast spurned all of you old 5e heads. Maybe what you need in your lives isn't a new tabletop game, but maybe it's a new war game in your life. What if you just like, screw this role-playing thing. I want toy soldiers and roll dice at each other. Maybe jump over to Warhammer.
I think that's a big jump. That's a pretty spendy hobby.
Don't pay attention to that part. just like don't pay attention to the part that it will be over $1,000 to get actually invested in the hobby. But
yeah,
hey, like imagine.
And Bill, that I mean, I don't think it's a very large number, but I do think it will be affected somewhat. People boycotting it is silly because that has literally nothing to do with what WotC's doing.
Yeah, it's not really connected to Wizards of the Coast, like other than the fact that they played a D&D game. Yeah, I think there will be people boycotting it. I don't think like people who know what's actually going on and are informed will. So I feel like most people will be like, Critical Role and Wizards of the Coast are different things.
Yeah, but some people can't make that difference. So, well, I do think there's some handfuls of people that won't watch it because they don't like, everything that's been going on. I don't think it'll overly suffer. I'm going to watch it because the first one was pretty lit, and I actually love campaign 1. So,
yeah.
And who knows? Hopefully, maybe after campaign 3, they start doing other tabletops. I think that'd be really cool. I think that's exactly what the scene needs right now, is someone like Critical Role going out and be like, hey, we're going to do some VTM.
Them in a VTM game would rule.
I mean, they have done like a one-shot VTM, I do believe, at one point.
Yeah, I think so. Like a campaign of VTM would rule with them specifically. Like, oh my god. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that is the one fun part about this, too. Like, I don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to liking a game with a bad company. Like, oh yeah, let me just tell you about Games Workshop.
Yeah, Games Workshop.
Ugh. They make some good content, but God, I don't like them. I will say, they're getting better, which is weird. They've made decisions where I'm like, damn, that's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
They specifically said they're actually pulling back on making you buy like 5 or 6 books each competitive season.
Wouldn't that be nice?
you're not gonna need 5 books to play your army.
And VTM stands for Vampire the Masquerade.
A great game.
It's a really good game. Modern gothic vampire storytelling set in the world of darkness, and world of darkness is such a fun setting because it's more than just vampires.
I do want to try out Hunt. I want to try out Hunter really bad.
Hunter the Vigil is really, really good as well. I do like a lot of them. There's like a lot of games that I would like to do more of. I kind of want to get into Iconic.
I've heard of Iconic.
It's the same developers of Lancer, but they're fantasy.
Oh, game. Yeah.
I've seen some of their demon art, and it's pretty sick.
God, the art, I love that. I love that, man. I love his art. I love the webcomic Kill 6 Million Demons. It's super good. Like, man, dude's talented. Yeah, I'm really interested in Hunter specifically because, actually, for 2 reasons. One, like, I just love monster hunting stuff, like, a lot. And after the whole, like, Warhammer League, like, copyright kerfuffle a few years ago, If the Emperor Had a Text-to-Speech Device moved over to make a series on Hunter called Hunter the Parenting. That's really good.
Yeah.
It's really funny. And also, like, just a really cool story it's telling. I like how they tell their stories.
Abomination Bill is a really good one. I do recommend that adventure path. It's a little bit more on the dungeon crawly side, but it's got a lot of fun stuff and some really fun monsters. And yeah, I mean, like, I love politics in games. I love having very, especially when it's very, God, whatever the style that Vampire the Masquerade's politics are. I'm sure there's a good word for it. But
very, like, backstabby Machiavellian type.
Machiavellian, I think, is a very, very good way to put it.
In, like, actual Machiavelli, not the misuse of Machiavellian. I think VTM fits that.
It's very much a style that I enjoy because it's something where the power balance isn't necessarily by wealth. It's by a variety of things. Like, when you have a politics system that is pressured by more than just money, it becomes vastly more interesting. Not that I don't think that, like, economics in a politics system are bad at all. If you like watch Spice and Wolf, I love games that have a very strong, like, okay, but look at this cool way you can look at economics to do things like outside of just buying and getting more money, to put pressure on people, to weaken your foes, all that kind of stuff.
What is Spice and Wolf?
Spice and Wolf's an anime. Shut up,
yeah,
Mr. Weeb.
I am
Shut
not.
The face.
No, I'm not a weeb, but we shouldn't argue this. We shouldn't argue this point for reasons I won't get into. We don't have to argue it, but I'm not.
It's a really good one. It's where this merchant guy finds and helps out this fox spirit, and it's a economic thriller, which is very interesting. There's a lot of moments where they do some really cool stuff with, like, bartering and how companies can live and fall and die by, like, the price of wheat and everything like that. Very, very interesting.
I'll say I really like it. I know the message is from Devin, but I really like looking over at chat and saying it's a great anime, Alex. Like, very targeted.
Yes.
And also, like, that kind of sounds pretty derivative of that one episode of JoJo where Joseph Joestar barters for some food from Steely Dan.
Political intrigue. That's true. That's very true, Gray. I think that's a good way to put it. And yeah, I don't know. Kazlos, I don't know about the European scene for Pathfinder. That is very interesting. I do know that Europe has had a very different tabletop experience than we do here in America.
Hmm.
So
Same in South
like
America, from
it's
people in our chat keep saying.
very different. South America's it's kind of got that like oh goodness. It was like the radio age where as technology was advancing in like other countries, they were starting to get things like radio stations for the first time when other countries are moving away from that kind of feel. Where South America, a lot of them are just getting into it, and they're like, oh, hey guys, have you heard of this really cool thing called tabletop games? It's really awesome. It's very interesting for sure. But I have no idea about how it is in Europe, because I know that it's very different, actually.
Mm-hmm. All I know is that the South American fighting game scene is sick, because they have like there's some really good ones that are super popular in South America that aren't really popular in the States.
Yeah.
Some with fucking Terry Bogard. I forget what that game is. It's an SNK game.
I've also
I think
heard
Fatal Fury or something.
that in Korea and Japan, there's also a lot of really cool tabletop RPGs that are coming out. But their scenes are so small right now, and so the games are almost unknown outside of their respective countries.
Yeah.
But I would love to see more stuff from like Korea or Japan.
Sure. Yeah. I just looked over. Yeah, King of Fighters. That game's based. Also, I just look over, and yeah, I'm definitely not watching Spice and Wolf ever, because it's a slice of life. Gross.
I'm never gonna take anything you say about anime seriously. Not a single thing.
Listen, you just can't handle the outsider perspective.
Yeah.
Anime is just not good.
Sure.
And
keep telling yourself that.
Listen, we also don't need to argue this point. Not because you have new evidence against me.
You just brought it up again.
No.
Shut up.
No. Why are you being so defensive?
I'm not. I'm just tired of your bullshit. Every time it's just like, hey guys, so anime's bullshit, but JoJo.
Here's a list of exceptions.
Oh, hey guys, you know what I've been doing recently? Watching all of One Piece.
Hey, okay, listen. Listen.
Nah, talk to the hand.
Anime is bad, but One Piece kind of cool, but you know.
It's
I will say, I also, when I started doing it, I started admitting it to some of my friends. Like, I was admitting that I have a drug addiction. Like, I was very, like, so I've been liking this new thing recently. It's called One Piece.
One Piece is good. I love
it. It is
One
good.
Piece.
I do enjoy it.
I made the jump to One Piece when it was at, like, 300 episodes. And it was a little bit of a slog, but it's fine. Now they're over 1,000, so I do not besmirch anyone who doesn't want to make that leap.
Yeah, exactly. I also found I only started watching it once that fan version that cuts out all the filler and repaces a lot of the scenes to be a lot flow a lot better. I only with that I'm like, all right, I'm done. Because that's the problem. I just would be too busy researching all the shit to skip, because I just don't want to waste my time on an arc that doesn't matter. That's like my lead. I mean, it's also, I mean, it's a absolute cold take, but filler's pretty lame.
Yeah, most of the time. There's some pretty banger fillers in some animes for sure. And I'm sure One Piece has its share, but yeah. I skipped them for the most part because it's already a big honkin' anime as is. Even without filler, I think One Piece would still be at 500, 600 episodes.
No, it's a lot. Like the from the One Piece edit, it's like a 7-day long binge. Funny you ask, Keenan. There isn't more anime tabletop RPG. Little known game called Anima Beyond Fantasy.
Who'd you pay? Who's this? Who's this plant?
Anima Beyond Fantasy is the best game. Don't listen to what Cam says.
Okay.
Good tabletop games have tables that are referenced that don't exist anywhere in the book.
Yes, multiple times. And various crafting systems that don't go anywhere. Don't get me wrong, right? I give a lot of grief to Anima as a DM because it's got the same problem as D&D 5e, which is literally you make up all the rules. For everything my players have ever enjoyed in Anima, 90% of it was stuff that I had to throw into the game to make it good. We didn't even use the same combat system that the game ships out with.
Oh, the base combat system sucks.
So, yes. Which is why once I got deeper into 5e, I booked it out of there because I'm like, oh my god, it's Anima 2.0. And I dipped for Pathfinder. And I haven't looked back. But Anima, I will say, Anima is like an inverse problem of the like the game's really good, but it's got a really terrible setting. The Anima setting is amazing. The things that you can do, the concepts in it are amazing. It's a very anime based or anime kind of based setting with a lot of good twists and turns. There's a lot of really cool stuff in it, but the system is garbage. If they could just bring it a little tighter, make things like one of my friends is brave enough to try tackling Anima at this point as a GM, and one of the players uses a spell that makes the ground slippery, and then the game explains nothing about what that actually means.
It makes it slippery.
It makes it slippery. That's all.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's no system in Anima about like slippery ground or ice or anything like that.
I mean, like, what else do you need to know? It's slippery. It's Anima's great. It's one of I love it because of how like open-ended a lot of character creation is. Granted, it also comes with the problem of you can very easily make a character in Anima that just like through no fault of your own just is dog shit and will become dog shit like a few levels down. But on the other hand, you can make like literally any character like you want with like any power system. If you like point at a character in like a show or movie, an anime or whatever, be like, I want to do that. I can point to like multiple systems that'll allow you to do just that. That's the part I really like about anime.
Yeah, no, it's great. I agree. What I don't like is that the game just has no sense of balance at all.
Oh yeah, 100%. The magic is a little broken.
It's
actually it's a lot broken.
It's a lot broken. Literally sever existence is like you just cut through reality. No explanation. Yep. You just can sever things. No range, no nothing. Hi, this spell lets you just cut through anything in your spell range, which can be miles, I might add.
Yeah, I like my my character who has a lot of range of his abilities is hundreds of mile.
It is a great character creator. You know what? If you love making characters, boy oh boy, Anima can be for you. As far as that's the only thing you're doing.
Yeah. I'm still considering I will make a video on Anima at some point, granted with a tag at some point. I'm actually in the like Spanish Anima Discord because one of the admins, like I was asking for like some lore questions. I got like responded to by the guy who made the wiki and is an admin on the server and like offered to like help me through some shit. And I've been keeping up with some Anima 2 news. yeah, Anima is just random bullshit go. That's what it is. And it's
got a little bit more structure than that, but it's definitely a game where it can be really fun if all players and the GM are all on the same page. If everyone's on the same page, the game is phenomenal. And we here, even on this channel, have some really good live plays of Anima Beyond Fantasy.
Oh yeah, Anima is like responsible for a lot of fantastic moments a lot of us here have experienced, like in tabletop. It's a great time. It does have problems.
I'll be right back.
Oh no. Oh god, I haven't been alone with chat for a while. Lancer tier list is a longer inevitability. It's just I have so much footage I'd have to work through. I don't have any time in my content creation schedule to do it. All you need to know is that the Rayleigh and the Lancaster are some of the best mechs the Lancer has, and the Monarch sucks ass. That's the important things. And so does the Saladin. And one other that one company, the military one, Harrison Armory, they're like jet engine face loser. He sucks too. And what would I even rank in Anima? Like, that's the problem. I don't know how I'd do that. I'm gonna make a video where I go through like what Anima is, the basics of like the system. I'll say respectfully disagree. I get the appeal of the Atlas. I'm not as into him though. I think he's a solid maybe A or B tier. I'm not as into just power suits. And any mech in Anima that I think looks like a regular mech I'd seen another thing, I'm less interested in. Yeah, all the high spells, like the just world-ending spells will get S tier. That is true. I do need that. That is something I've thought about. Because it is just an empty chair with a voice speaking over, instead of like, yes, it's me, Clue Boy, I'm here. It's mainly just because like if this is a live stream and I'm on camera, I don't perform well on live streams like that are on camera, because I'm too like pacey, fidgety, all that stuff. I get too self-conscious about it. I only like being on camera when it's hyper edited, that I can edit. So that is true. Like a little like Discord light up thing would be kind of fun. Yeah, something just to show that there is in fact a person at the helm, not an empty chair.
Become a VTuber.
I do have a PNG tuber model that I was made. Oh. I have Gray made me a rat. It's the Halo 3 rat with the mouse. Yeah, and then I have a button that just pulls a gun on chat. Yeah. What if we just did that? I have the files.
Much more interesting chair break than no net. I'll give you that sweet sword. Oh, yeah. So my good friend and roommate got me this chair. It's actually a really good chair. Devin got me this. It's
a very solid chair.
Secret Lab. It's one of the expensive ones that she did not have to go that far. But it is the Pike from League of Legends. It's a really sick chair.
I didn't know that was a League of Legends chair.
Yeah. So it's a really good chair. I love the pillow, the magnetic pillow, better than the strap pillows.
100%.
And it's really comfy. I do love this chair. I am sad I use it so much because it will eventually break down. But this is such a good chair. I love this chair so much. It was worth the money.
Honestly, it's the only gaming chair I've sat in and enjoyed, because gaming chairs are a scam.
I think for the most part. But this one is really good.
Oh yeah, no, that one is like an exception. I sat in it like a few times when I was over, like once or twice, and I was like, damn, good gaming chair. Because most gaming chairs murder your back. They're really bad for like really posture. Bad for you. Yeah. When just get an office chair. Just get if you get like a $30-$40 office chair, it's gonna be more comfortable and better for your back than like this $500 gaming chair. Then it seems like Secret Lab's an exception.
But yeah, we should get you like some kind of logo or something.
At the very least, like it might be more possible. Just have like a small Discord cutout on like maybe the top left, top right, so it's clear somebody's talking. Like so, like it lights up with my mic.
Well, we can do like a. Well, we'll need to get you like an avatar or something, and we can do that thing where it lights up when you talk. Because I've heard that program is actually really easy to use.
Oh, I imagine. Yeah, it'd be fun. I think it's a smart idea because if there's something actually happening on screen, it'd make more sense. Because that's something I think about where it's like, yes, table talk, and then like a guest comes in. I'm like, hello, I'm the disembodied voice that appears on this thing. Yeah. You probably haven't watched Table Talk, so here I
am. Hector coming in. Hector's been actually like on a lot of my videos lately, giving some really good advice, or at least like, hey, what about this or about that, or hey, I can't find these links. It's always really good. So thank you so much, Hector. You help improve the channel little by little every time you comment. It's great.
Good shit.
But yeah, so I was gonna say something and then I just spaced. I guess I was gonna like try to veer back on topic, but we don't need a topic at this point. We can just chat for 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, we're just hanging out.
But I'm excited for all the people coming to Pathfinder, and I do think that it's not gonna be nearly as much as some people think it is. It's significant, but not significant enough where I think it'll change most people's games. And I don't know. I would love a hard like 20% shift in Paizo's direction. If 20% of D&D's crowd came to Paizo, that'd be huge.
That'd be
sick. I don't think it'll be anywhere near that amount, but that would be, I think, what we might you might be joining another game soon. What game are you joining, Devin? Also, I gotta say, somewhat D&D related, Celasta's great. We've been playing some Celasta recently, and it's been a blast.
Yeah, I'm also, you're welcome, by the way, because Celasta was a gift I got Slug Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got them Celasta. That's why they had it, just because they had it on their wish list. We all played it, and it was dirt cheap during Christmas. So I was like, all right, here you are.
Oh, that's awesome, Devin. That's cool. I can't wait to play Kingmaker. We're gonna do the Kingmaker campaign when we're done with Age of Ashes, and I'm very excited for that one.
Hell yeah! I'm excited to hear it or at least like hear the stories of y'all, because Kingmaker's, from everything I've heard, is super good.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. They've got combat rules for armies and kingdom building stuff, and it's very, very interesting. So it's also a very dynamic campaign because you do come across a lot of different kinds of enemies in it. So
that's cool.
Rather than Wrath of the Righteous, where most of the creatures you fight are demons, which is cool.
I like
but
demons.
It gets tiring after many hours.
Unless you make a character that hates demons and is becoming one. That's what I did. It was pretty fun. And I just had a bunch of bonuses to kill demons.
Which character?
I only have 2 characters in Wrath of the Righteous. Granted, both of them are the exact same like that, but you don't need to say it.
Honestly, I'm never calling TTRPG session a PF game instead of a D&D game, whatever. Well, that's just an old hang-on habit, because when people would say, hey, we're going to go play tabletop, people are like, what's tabletop? But if you go say, hey, we're going to go play D&D, people know exactly what you're going to play.
It's, there's a word for it. I used to know it. I learned it in some of my business classes. It's the same concept as your parents saying, are you playing on your Nintendo? And you're like on an Xbox. It's the exact same thing. It's use a brand name for the thing. It's like saying I'm going to go Google that. I'm not going to internet search that, because that's what Google actually wants you to say. Because the whole concept of like everything being boiled down to like your brand name is really bad for your business.
Yeah.
But I there's a term for it and I don't remember. Because that is very true. Because I'll often just be like, yeah, I got a D&D game, and I'm like going to go play Lancer or Pathfinder. Because like I'm not going to sit here and explain to you the differences between whatever games.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually matter. All you need to know is I'm sitting down at a table and rolling dice.
Yeah, but that I think is going to change. Generational. It's something that I feel as we move forward and we get more and more people in the space who are looking at games other than just D&D, it's something where eventually you're just going to be like, hey, I'm going to go play some TTRPGs with my friends. And people are like, oh, I know what that is. It's just one of those things where it's just easier. It's just easier to explain everything as D&D. Like when I talk to my family, I'm like, I make YouTube content on games like D&D when I have no D&D content on my channel whatsoever, but they at least understand that's what I'm going for.
Yeah, I had to explain. Yeah, I'm making content on Warhammer 40K. Please don't look into it, because actually, I will say this is a genuine like. It's a thought that I whenever I'm hit with it, I have like a natural negative reaction, but it's not really that bad. Turns out I have an aunt that really likes Warhammer and the Lord of the Rings war game. And so they actually have them and their husband, or I guess my uncle, have watched and enjoyed my content, and that terrifies me.
That's hilarious.
Because the problem is, I'm like, I just don't want my family around when I'm explaining what Slaanesh is. You know?
That's fair.
Like, I don't want to explain what the Emperor's children do. With my family here, it's a little weird. I at least rest easy that my parents know, support, but don't want to watch my stuff. And I'm like, thank fuck. I don't want my dad to be like, hey, sport, about these world eaters, and I'm like, oh god. Because I will say, there's been 2 times in my life where my YouTube channel has been the source of a present. First was from Devin, because that's just who Devin is. He gives you good gifts.
It's true. It's very good.
Yeah, I mentioned I wanted a really cool Custodes model, but didn't have the money. I got it for my birthday. So fucking 10 out of 10 friend. And then my dad, for Christmas, he looked at one of my top performing videos and then picked the faction that I was talking about and got me a t-shirt of it.
Nice.
So I got a World Eaters shirt. I don't even play World Eaters. I just made a video that did really well on them. And he's like, yeah, I got you a cool shirt. And I'm like, this is a really good shirt. And I do love the gift. And I just think it's funny that, like, because I asked him, how did you pick this? He's like, oh, I just looked at one of the popular ones. And I was like, you go, Dad.
And for Bill Shepard, you asked a question about my trek through all the archetypes.
I did see that. Oh, God.
We currently have 43 done, which is massive.
I don't know how many.
I believe I have 140 some odd left to go.
Hit some more.
And there will be some more with Treasure Vault coming out. So, yeah, we got a lot of time. We got a lot left. The next one coming out is, let me see here. Trying to remember. I believe it's the first F one. Which is, oh yeah, Familiar Master. I'm actually super excited about that one.
That's fun. I've looked into that one.
It's really good, and I think there's some very good feats in there. So we got a ways to go still. Plenty. I wish. I don't wish. It would be better if I just started addressing the ones that people are really interested in. But if I do that, it'll make keeping track of the ones I have and have not done infinitely harder. So yeah. I just gotta keep going down the list. Plus, it makes my tier list video whenever that comes out every so often, every couple letters of the alphabet, easier to do as well, because I can do it in small chunks. Because honestly, if I was to do a tier list of the whole thing, it'd be an 8-hour video. So rather than that, you can just watch the latest update to the tier list. And yeah, you know what? You're lucky. I rarely get gifts directly related to tabletop.
I don't know what I'd gift other than dice, which I do give you dice.
Which true, you did give me dice. Most of them are stabs at me, but you know, you have got
the
me
last
dice.
one wasn't. The last one
was not. They were really
No,
good.
I only got you
them
one
here.
joke dice set.
That's like half.
I have only gotten you 2 dice sets.
Yes, you
Look,
have.
that's an unfair metric, Cam. That's unfair.
It's literally
throw that at me.
50% of the gifts.
That's not not cool. Listen, it just happened to fall on my lap in Etsy. You were running 3 games that all had an undead focus, and I found undead dice, and I'm like, well, it's Cam's favorite thing.
And it wasn't. We rarely did anything.
I just thought it was funny.
No, they're red. It's really hard to tell.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think they come across the best on camera.
Well,
Cam
it's
plays-
also because I have it locked on a certain
too.
focus, so it doesn't constantly focus.
They are dice that are meant to be like kind of flame-like, because Cam plays an elemental like fire character in an anime game we're in. So I wanted to get some. Whenever I give dice gifts, I want to give something that relates to a character they're playing at the time. And also it's just like I like to get dice for a lot of people, since we have a lot of nerd dice collectors who enjoy it.
It's true. I do love dice. I wish we could use them more often. Maybe if we ever get that gamer house going.
Oh,
we can,
yeah.
We can do a lot more in-person kind of stuff, but it's just easier to have everyone roll on the site, because then, you know, you could see everything going on.
Yeah, we got a lot of dice goblins in our friend group. I'm personally not a dice goblin. I like dice and all. I'm not, you know, I'm kind of, I forget, it's one of the Dimension 20 guys who said it, where I'm kind of a belief you don't need more than 1 dice set. But hey, I know not everyone feels that way.
And Bill, not necessarily. When Treasure Vault comes out, I'll just go straight through everything that happened in Treasure Vault. Do all those videos like as quickly as I can. Kind of like what I did with Dark Archive. It's better for my sanity, even though it's really rough to do a bunch of videos at once, because otherwise it just makes my list get longer. And doing these once a week, I'm already set for a couple of years. I don't need more weeks tossed onto that than necessary. So you'll see everything, any new book that comes out besides maybe Adventure Paths, you will see those archetypes all right away. If there are archetypes that come out in some of the Adventure Paths, I will go back and add them if they were on a prior letter before continuing forward. But other than that, hopefully that doesn't happen too much.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited for sadly, you know, it's a lot of work on your end, but I'm excited for the your cover of Treasure Vault.
Yes, I know a lot of people are really interested, because magic items in Pathfinder are not lackluster, I want to say, but it feels like as fun and as good as the rest of the system is, it feels like the magic items can be a little lacking sometimes in that department. And also, there's just no videos out there on magic items, like almost at all. So being the channel to do that, might as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the weapon tier list video did real well.
Yeah, the weaponry tier list did pretty well. Did he do his preview already? My god. I gotta say, I'm envious of Nonet. Like, legitimately envious. Not like envious in the sense that, oh, that would be fun. Like, there's so many times I see like Nonat gets his name blasted like all over the place. People advertise for him all over the place. And there's many times I'm just sitting there just like grumpy because I'm like, man, I wish I got nearly a quarter of that. I'm happy for him and his success, obviously. And I even advertised him myself in my most recent video because it would be criminal not to include his content.
Yeah.
But my God, do I wish to get some of that kind of privilege sometimes, because I work hard. I cover Dark Archive more than anyone else does. And I got like no recognition for it.
Yeah, that's the struggle for it right now. Because, like, you know what? I'm also like, man, I wish my name was thrown around as casually as like Luton or like Adeptus Ridiculous. Like, it's like, you want Warhammer? This guy. It's like, man, it's we're both like trying to bring something to each of our respective fields. Soon we'll get more recognition for it. But right now it's just the like, you got the like almost 2K like subs pain. I got the sub 1K pain right now.
Yeah. It's just one of those things of, unfortunately, the only measure of success when it comes to tabletop is sub count.
Yep.
And it's understandable that companies would focus on that. Obviously, it's one of the when you market, right? When you do like anything about like billboard, yada yada yada, you always want very high viewing places. And this channel, no matter how much I work on it, is still not quite there yet. So like, I understand completely, but if I had the opportunity, I feel like we could go far with it. And we have gotten some good opportunities. I mean, heck, we recently, with everything going on, we got some good viewing from the OGL stuff. And my recent video that came out yesterday is nearly at 2K views already. It unfortunately didn't hit as well as I was hoping for, but it did pretty well for one of the videos I do on this channel, especially when my average like view counts are like 600 or something like that. But once we hit 2K, we'll probably start like really setting the pace. And I mean, like, the rules lawyer, right, up until very recently was sub 10K and is now at almost 20K in like 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
So like after like this whole thing, and we did get a lot more. We got a lot more views than normal. We got a lot more subs than normal. And people are now filtering in even now as we speak. We've gotten some subs here, and we got follows on Twitter and people in the Discord. We're making very steady progress. And that's the one thing I'm very proud of on this channel is no matter what, we're making very steady progress. We'll get there. But sometimes I'm just like, oh, if only it was me. But it's fine, because I enjoy what I do, and I've made this my passion, and nothing's gonna stop me. Even now, after like having some slow periods, it's like recently, right? You go through a slow period, but if you keep at it, you'll hit another fast period. We had a fast period last July when Dark Archive came out because we busted our ass for Dark Archive, and then it got a little slow for a bit, and it was really slow this winter break, because it always is, and then bam, suddenly we got a huge jump here in January, which I wasn't even expecting. And when Treasure Vault comes, we'll get another boost. When Rage of Elements comes, we'll get another boost. So as long as you keep with it, you can make it. and we got some good things here on the channel. I do think we're going in the right direction. We just need that one opportunity where we get 20k views on a video, and I think we'll start jumping up in views, very similarly to how like the Rules Lawyer has recently. And Roll for Combat has also gotten like 5-6k out of all this stuff. So no, sure, have you ever seen the Spiffing Brit video on AI for YouTube? There's seems to be some stuff you could implement on your description.
Yeah, I remember it's like a sign up thing, right?
Right. It's just different for different niches, and its effectiveness works differently for different niches.
Yeah. It's the I think if you're doing standard YouTube or gaming stuff, I feel like it plays more into that than like it would for, say, like the tabletop field. Like there's sometimes different games that you have to play. Like in the great game of YouTube, there's just some different stuff you got to do based on your content.
Let's see. Oh goodness, a lot of people here on YouTube. Let's see. You're a hero that we need but don't recognize. Law. To be honest, you inspired a lot to play with my family. Thanks. I'm glad, Fernando. I mean, I love it, and I don't think that passion is misplaced, and I think I have a really good mindset for keeping tabletop, I think, at a very, I guess, even level between like hardcore and casual, and also inclusive, obviously. So how's the stream, man? It's going good, thanks, Spook Rosa. And I hadn't heard of Deadly DA before yesterday's video, so thank you for that. Also check out Frizz. I love Frizz's videos, and a lot of people love Frizz, but he's also one of those unknown channels, even though I see him all over whenever you look at Pathfinder 2e stuff. More than me by a lot, actually.
It's the animated one, right?
Pseudo animated, but yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a story behind your bad luck channel name? Yes, I'm love. The dice don't like me in any regard. When I'm the GM, the enemies roll absurdly well, and when I'm a player, it rolls very poorly. And I think it's just that kind of like cognitive bias of everyone thinks they're unlucky. I just decided to capitalize on it, and I think the branding is really good.
Yeah. I also like it because it does happen in a lot of games. There are a lot of times where you're working on something and then I try it. I'm like, ooh, first try.
Exactly.
Like grinding for something. I really liked that brief Genshin era where like I kept one polling like all the shit you wanted.
Yeah, bad video game luck as well. Like literally watching, like I was playing like this Naruto battle game with Devin, and just watching him run through my fireballs like the hitboxes don't exist, and it's like, that's not how it works in the game. The hitboxes are pretty good, but I don't know, just fuck me, I guess. It's a fun and humbling moniker, so I think it's really good. Also, I have a very strong Irish heritage, so kind of the Shamrock appeal is really, really good for me as well. Yeah, definitely, and that's true. A lot of people I did mention are very influential. It's just something that I feel like a lot of them probably didn't need my video to help them gain any success, but a lot of people appreciated it, and I think with all the OGL stuff as well, it was nice to have a video just kind of talking good stuff about some people in our community. It made a lot of people feel really nice, and I think we need more of that nowadays.
Yeah, it's all skill that the hitbox just didn't work.
Yeah.
All skill. Hey, I've played Arena Fighters. That's true of them.
Do you ever think you'd ever do third-party archetypes? Oh, maybe. Who knows? The future can be very different. There's enough core archetypes. I don't think I'll be in need for content anytime soon. But you never know. Like I said, there might be a big third-party boom where that kind of stuff is better. Because in the end, something that everyone needs to remember, even me, I need to remember, that this is a channel that I am intending to grow and to get people to watch. And so I will make content that people will watch. So I will do things that are more algorithmically focused, even if I do like enjoy it anyway. There, like some of the intent, like the OGL video I made, was mostly because it was going to get clicks, and it did, and that helped the channel, and it helps everyone else because you guys now have more people to talk to. Even the video I made the other day was a very strong attempt to kind of like get a lot of people's attention, which it did, and it made people feel good in the process. It was a win-win overall. So if there ever comes a time where third-party content is something that like there's a big focus on in the community, I'll jump on it, like magic items will be for Treasure Vault. So with the influx of people watching Roll for Combat, there might be some interest for a study of their archetypes if they have some, and I recall they have. Yeah, it'd be weird if they didn't, honestly. Yeah, being the one channel to have archetypes as much as we do anyway is, I think, a big boon. And honestly, with the build video, like, this channel is really good. Like, the reason why I think the channel will do well is because there's a lot of evergreen content that people who discover the channel will find and have plenty to binge, because we have class stuff, we have archetypes more than anyone else, we have builds, we have other tabletops. We have a lot here going on in the channel, and if we hit a level of success where I can expand, get an editor to kind of help lessen the load so I can put that load into more videos, then we'll make even more videos and have even more stuff coming out. And, you know, I've had a very good plan from the get-go to push the channel in a way where it's a one-stop shop where you can find a lot that you are looking for when it comes to a space. And I think we've done that really well. I think that a lot more people who discover the channel will be very pleased with the content they find. And even though I don't get the roles right 100% of the time, you know, I'm human like anyone else. I do love it, and I do, like, this is also just my hobby and something I would be doing regardless, so I have a very strong focus on it anyway. So I hope that this translates well to all of you, and you can enjoy the content that I produce. And I'm checking out the YouTube content because it's not showing up on Streamlabs anymore.
It's very weird.
It's very strange. Oh, people talking about their bad luck.
Yeah, you can safely call yourself the one piece of Pathfinder archetypes.
I guess
There's so many.
There are so many. That's true. But you know, there is a lot that we can. There's still a lot more we can do on the channel, and I'm trying to keep a healthy work-life balance, and it's a lot of effort to make YouTube content that's based on like research and like digesting and understanding rules and everything. Like, it's not like gaming content.
No.
Gaming content, you just kind of sit down, play the game, commentate, and then chop up all the bits where you're silent, and you're pretty set to go. When it comes to stuff like this, it's a lot more niche. It's a lot more understanding the game, and it's also a lot of approach. Like, my build videos, I think, do really well because the builds I come up with are genuinely interesting, rather than mechanically, like, have high mechanical fidelity or are overly, like, thematic. The builds I have, not only can you play and have a very strong aesthetic, but the mechanics are very interesting that you mess around with as well. My One of my more recent ones, the Envoy of the Lantern King, was a really good build. I do recommend that one. And the Archivist is also another very solid build as well. Want to try the one that is just a Final Fantasy Blue Mage and Pathfinder? What archetype is that?
The Blue Mage archetype. Yeah, actually, what one would that even be?
I have no idea. It might be one from Battle Zoo or something. Yeah, I don't think that's an official one.
Yeah.
Because there's no Azure Mage in Pathfinder, at least core. So, who knows? But, yeah, anyway, I'm very excited. And, yeah, it's Battle Zoo. I thought so. I mean, that's the... Roll for Combat's whole thing is Battle Zoo anyway. So, it's definitely... This channel still got a ways to go for sure, but we're putting in a lot of effort and a lot of desire to make content that hopefully y'all find enjoyable. Like I said, next month when I get Treasure Vault stuff, whether I have to buy it or otherwise, I'll be making archetype videos. I'll also be doing like some item tier lists to see, you know, like what items y'all really want to see. And I also have probably some more character builds that we're going to come out here. Going to do all the class character builds so that you all have a fun build for all the classes that you have at the very least. And I do suspect we're already at 1.75k, which is nuts. I do expect that we will hit 2k sometime next month, which is very exciting. That's faster than we hit 1k, which is good. And I do feel like with all the major like boosts of interest that come with some of the various, you know, events happening this year when it comes to Pathfinder 2e specifically, I think we'll keep these boosts very consistently throughout the year. And my goal is to hit 5k by the end of this year. I think that's really attainable. I do think at minimum we'll hit 3k by the end of this year. But you never know. Like I said, some big thing could happen, some big controversy or whatever, and we get a video that gets 40k views or something, and then we're suddenly at over 10k. It could happen. This whole thing happened out of nowhere, and the channel suddenly got like dozens of views or of subs like every day. So who knows?
Hell yeah, I hope so. I know I personally have the goal to at least get over 1k subs by like end of February.
I think you can do it.
I think I can too. My goal is to like have everything eligible before I wrap up this school quarter.
I think you got a good shot, but
I think I do too. It's just the hours are going to be like eventually. It's just I think at the current state, it's the kill of momentum fucked with me.
It does. It messes with your mental. You gotta.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's just
gotta push past it.
On. Yeah, it's continue trucking on. It's just the sad part when you're like, man, every single video for like the past like a few uploads before like Christmas, and then when I had my computer problems, was just like getting 1k views like each time. Like just success after success, and then it's like hard to break over 500. It's like, damn algorithm, I'm back. I'm making stuff. Promote my shit again.
It takes for like every video you miss is like a week that you have to produce constant content to fix. Like, there's various things. Obviously, life is hard, and I got a lot of stuff happening, you know, IRL, and so. There's a point where you looked at Pathfinder 2e, you'd find my content somewhat easily. Now, you have to scroll way down to find my content if you look at Pathfinder 2e stuff. It's just the algorithm and getting past it. It doesn't mean you're not making good content. And obviously, if you have videos that get thousands of views, you have thousands of people who watch your who would like to watch your content. Obviously, so you just gotta keep reminding yourself that like people will watch it. It's just advertising in a sense.
Oh yeah, it's less of a morale thing. It's more me angrily shaking fist at the AI YouTube overlords. It's more just me lashing out at technology.
Yeah, and honestly, Hector, though, I would say YouTube's not bullshit. It's way easier to find someone on YouTube than Twitch.
Oh yeah, Twitch is a little harder.
And you know, it's like algorithms are hard. You know, and obviously the platform wants to be profitable as well and filter views towards the more popular videos. But the algorithm can also take you from nowhere to somewhere real fast as well. You know, it can work both ways. And I've had videos, my monk video like took off like out of nowhere for no reason. You never know when something will just kick up, whether it's just a bunch of looks. As long as you're consistently trying, eventually you can get the algorithm on your side. It just needs consistency, and it needs you to not give up. You do those two things, and you'll go far. And just know, you'll have low points and you'll have high points. Literally, right before this OGL nonsense, channel was not doing like great as far as growth. Suddenly, we're now the peak we had during Dark Archive out of nowhere. So you just gotta keep trying. And people obviously like the content. With everyone who's come in, like all these people we've had in the chat here today, a year ago this chat was empty.
True.
But we have people consistently coming back. We have people constantly talking in our Discord. We have hardcore fans who just like the content that we make, and that number will keep growing, and eventually it'll get to a point where you have your people sharing stuff everywhere, and then you just start growing like crazy. Like, even the biggest of YouTube channels only have such a small percentage of their actual viewer base consistently watching all their stuff or on their streams or whatever. I mean, that's fair, Hector, and I'm not telling you how to live your life for sure. I'm just saying that it's not as bad as people think. The algorithm hurts, and it really pressures you to keep going, and it definitely creates this bad relationship where you're like, oh, if I don't produce content, everything's gonna die. Because that's what happens. You don't produce content, and then suddenly your content gets buried. I make Pathfinder content, and that like a week off or something, you know, bad mental, whatever, and suddenly it's nowhere to be found, you know. But you just keep coming back, and eventually the channel's momentum will carry you beyond that point. As long as you keep making content, eventually you'll get picked up on an algorithm wave, and your content will keep going. Heck, even No Nats was stuck at like 25k subs for like several months, and now with the OGL stuff, he's gained like 10k subs.
Oh yeah, because like that, you look for the top dog if you're looking for OGL news and you're just a newcomer.
And so, you know, obviously, even bigger channels have some stagnation periods where their growth is not as much as they would like. It's all ratioed by how much you currently have and whatnot. So it's something that this channel here, like I said, our channel grew in a relatively fast period of time. We got 1k in like 8 months or something like that, which is pretty good. We're getting another k in 6 months, which means we might get another k in like 5 months, 4 months, you know. So it's something that you can generate the momentum. You just need consistency. And, you know, not everyone has infinite drive to just make stuff. So the fact that we've gotten this far is a testament to the work I put in, but also all you and all that to help. Hell, we have people in our Discord who are just like, hey, got you some more subs right here, pulling people in, and they enjoy the content enough to do that.
It's a sick part. I love the growth where it's like there are names in chat where I'm like, oh, it's that person. I know them.
Yeah.
They're in our Discord. They're cool.
Exactly, and it's so fun making so many new friends. I do miss doing tabletop content with like viewers we were doing for a while, but consistency is something that's really, really important.
Yeah, gotta stay pushing.
And also, it's hard because you never know when someone's going to come on and just be a stinker. We didn't have that, fortunately.
Thank
but
God.
You never know.
That's the worrying part. It's the part of like fan stuff that I'm very like cautious about, because there are people who will just come in and then be kind of assholes for the sake of being an asshole. And thankfully, our community's cool.
We have a lot of good people.
The people who joined were like cool people, so it was a good time.
But all right, I think we've gone on a well long enough.
I do need to dip. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all so much for watching. We're going to maybe have a guest appearance next week. We're going to be addressing, what new players to Pathfinder 2E are looking for. So we got some of that. A new R-Type video will be coming out tomorrow, hopefully. And a new Lancer video after that. And next week I have some more fun videos planned. Got any news before we head out?
If you, for some reason, are curious about Warhammer 40k and actually a more cooler community about it, go check out my channel. It's Glue Boy. If you find Warhammer content, you'll see it. Consider checking it out. It's pretty cool. The air I try to bring, I don't like a lot of 40k tone of stuff. I want to have the tone of like you going into a game store and asking the clerk, hey, what's up with this Warhammer thing? So yeah, if you want to check out Warhammer, go check me out. I'm pretty proud of a lot of stuff I make.
Okay. And with that, we'll see y'all later. Have a nice night, everyone.
See ya.
Good night.